Okay, so yesterday I went to 2 restaurants. I was sitting there and I was not greeted. And I think I was like there for 10 minutes. Either way, it was kind of awkward. It was a blessing in disguise. But either way, I'll tell you this. That's kind of like, for some reason, it's like a common thing here in Utah. I don't feel like they're the best servers. I'm from Houston, Texas. We got really good servers there. Because, I mean, Houston, Texas, food is the culture. Pretty much. There's like a restaurant in every block. So the servers know what to do to actually be a good server. And the customers know how to tip as well. But they also know when a server is being exceptionally doing exceptionally well or is lacking, and they know how to assess that. Okay, but I'm going to give advice for the servers first. I don't know if I need to also mention that the customers are not good tippers here either. They tip about about 10%. If you're lucky, you might get 15%. But in Houston, it's a rare thing that you get anything under 20%. Usually it's like 20, 25%. So they're pretty much on their game. They know exactly how it works. So it's not awkward. It's just like, anyway. All right, so I want to teach the people in Utah, because I've had such a lousy experience, on how to be a good server. Okay, so you're going to work, and what do you need to make sure that as soon as you clock in, there's certain things that you need to make sure that you have down, okay? You need to have your uniform in full, which is your apron, your pants, your skid resistant shoes. You need to always make sure you have skid resistant shoes. You have your pins, you have your apron. I think I mentioned you have your apron, and you have a bank of 50 of change. So like you got some dollar bills, you got fives, you got quarters, you got pennies, you got everything you need, okay? Because I'm telling you, when it gets really busy, you don't want to be continually having to go to the manager or go to like a register to get your change. That's going to put you in the weeds. I'll talk about the weeds later and what that means. Unfortunately, people here in Utah don't even know what that word means, being in the weeds. Awkward. Okay. And you have a waiter book. You have your vouchers in your apron. So you're clocked in. The hostess is, they tell you what section you're in. So basically now, okay, I'm in this section. I have these many tables to look after. The hostess sits down a customer. I would call them a guest. Don't call them a customer. Call them a guest, okay? So they sit down. This is what the first thing that you need to do within 30 seconds, okay? As soon as you can. They sit down, you need to greet them. You need to say, hey, welcome to this place. My name is, and can I take your drink order? Now, if you're really busy, what you can do, if you're not ready to take their drink order, you could say, hey, I'll be right with you, okay? But when you get their drinks, you need to make sure it's at their table in 2 to 3 minutes. Very important. Now, when you serve their drinks, you need to make sure that your body is open body and you're not like reaching across the table to serve people's drinks. That's awkward. You can be spilling things on the table. You can come around, you're behind them, you use your left hand. Okay, so you always serve with your left hand, you take with your right hand, okay? You do the same to each person around the table. And also they have this thing called rotation, where it's like you go to a certain point and you go make your way around the table. That's always good to do that. Like when you're taking orders for your drinks, your appetizers, your meals, your dessert, it's always the same order, so you don't get anything confused. So now they got their drinks. You offer them 2 appetizers to choose from. You say, hey, we have these nachos, But we also have the sample platter. Which one do you feel you would like to have? And they say, you know, actually I was looking at this other appetizer. So so they either will choose the two that you mentioned, the suggestions, or they might use, order their own appetizer. You write it down. As soon as you write it down, you go straight to the computer. You put the appetizer in the, put the appetizer as soon as you can in there, okay? So the appetizers are looking about 5 to 7 minutes, okay? So you bring out the appetizer, you serve again in rotation. You serve with your left hand. You set it down. You step away for a little bit. You see that they have 2 bites of their appetizer. You come back to the table and say, how is your appetizer? They say, oh, it's good. They say, oh, okay, great. Well, enjoy your appetizer. And then after that, you take their orders for the entree. If they happen to have a salad with the entree, after you put your entree in the computer, you need to make sure that you first clear their appetizer plates if they are finished with their appetizer, okay? Then you can bring the salad, but you need to make sure you bring that salad before the entree comes out. Make sure, you look at their salad as well. Make sure that it looks good and healthy. Okay? So then after that, you finally, they have their salads. And make sure that you're always checking to see if, where their water is or their drinks. If it's half empty, you need to make sure that you come back to the table ASAP with a new beverage, or fill up their water. Always make sure that it's always filled up to the top. I mean, if it's like, half empty, that's the time to let you know, okay, I need to go refill their drinks. So you need to check on when they're eating their entree, a 2 bite after 2 bites. You come back to the table, you say, hi, how is your entree? And they're gonna say, hey, I like this, or, I would like to add a little more onions, or I would like to have a little more blue cheese. So you take note of that. So they're eating their meal, their drinks are filled, they seem happy. Make sure that you're anticipating their needs. Don't ask too many questions either. You don't want to get on their nerves. So they're finished with their meal. Then what you're going to do, as I mentioned before, you're going to clear the entree plates with your left hand behind them like this. You're going to reach over and clear their plates behind each person. You don't want to be reaching across the table. That's awkward. Then you're going to offer 2 desserts to choose from. Always. Say, hey, we have this ice cream sundae, we have this or that. Yeah, it should be at every single table. Don't assume anything about anybody that you think that, oh, they're poor, they're not going to want a, dessert, or they look like they're, eating slow, they may not want, they don't look like they want it. I mean, maybe they want to take it home. Don't judge anybody. Okay? So they eat their dessert, and then you bring the check on a clean table. Make sure that everything's cleared. You bring the check and just say, hey, thank you. You just get me when you're ready. No rush. Anything like that. And just keep filling their drinks. It doesn't matter. If they're there, longer than you think, just keep filling their drinks. I mean, I don't know. You'll be surprised. Like sometimes that people that sit at your table, end up maybe tipping well. Sometimes they don't. I don't know. Okay. These are things to think about, though, throughout your whole shift. Now, in a perfect world, as I mentioned, all these different steps, it doesn't always work out that perfectly because there are many factors in the equation. For example, you may get double sat, but it would not be wise for you to go to that one table and do all the steps and then go to the other table and do all the steps. That doesn't work, okay? And maybe in a perfect world, that may work, but it doesn't. Okay, so if you got double sat twice, then you could do the steps with 2 tables at the same time and treat it as one table. So you greet 2 of the tables before you go to the kitchen, before you put the order in. You order the drinks and you put it on a tray for the 2 tables at the same time, and you bring it to the 2 tables. So you do need to have strength when you're carrying those trays, but there is a way you can carry it. You need to carry it right here on your shoulder, okay? And it becomes not too heavy, and it's all about balancing. So it's not about, like, I guarantee you, if you carry it like this, it's gonna be freaking heavy. You're not gonna be able to carry it. Don't carry it on your head. Don't carry it, just anything awkward. Carry it like this. It doesn't matter how freaking big the tray is. Majority of the time, you'll be able to carry it. You can be able to get 3 different tables at the same time. Believe me, it's possible. Okay, but that's why it's really important too. As I mentioned before, I hope I mentioned this. I was mentioning, like, your uniform. You need to make sure that it's neat and tidy. You need to make sure your hair is back. You need to make sure your hair is clean. But having your hair back is really going to save you from getting hair in their food. I'm telling you, you may not think you should, but you should. So just keep it in a nice tight bun. You can hairspray it. Just make sure that there's no stray hairs, and you'll be good. So that is how to be a good server. Now, there's this other thing. It's called, so the helpful tips I would say is, okay, there's 3 things to pay attention to throughout your whole 3 with each customer. Okay, so you need to prioritize. You need to figure out what is the most important thing that you need to focus on first. So you need to figure out, okay, so what's more important? Like, I'm in a rut. Ordering their appetizer or greeting a table, which one do you feel is more important? Or, getting an appetizer or bringing the check? I will tell you, I feel like the most important is greeting a table, because it doesn't take long at all to just go to a table. Just say, hey, my name is this. I'll be right with you in a sec. Okay, that does not take any time at all. You can just let them know. Most people are courteous, and most people will say, oh, okay, take your time. Most people will respond that way. Before the appetizer, okay? So now if it came down to ordering a meal or bringing a check, I think that bringing a check should be first on the priority list, because they've already eaten, all their plates are cleared. That's the time that they're thinking about what they're going to tip you, okay? That's the time that you need to just drop the check down. Now, you're just letting them know, hey, just let me know when you're ready. Sometimes they'll just say, oh, okay. They still may chat a little bit. They may put it down later. They may put it down right then and there. Either way, though, if they put their credit cards down right then and there, or they're putting their cash, right down then and there, you can just put it in your apron, put it in a voucher, and then maybe go when you're ordering your appetizer, then you can clear out the checks after you put your appetizer real quick in. So does that make sense? Consolidate. That's really important. So you need to always be aware of every area that you're in and be able to use that area wisely. If you're in the kitchen, besides just checking on an appetizer or an entree, you need to think about your other tables and think, is there a salad? Did anybody order a salad? Did anybody order dessert? Because you're right there in the kitchen. So yes, you could check on your appetizer and just say, hey, do you have the chicken tenders coming up? I ordered it at this time. Like I just want to see if it's on its way or something like that. Or if you need to check on the entree, whatever you need to do, you can still use that time wisely in the kitchen. Always use your time wisely at the computer. When you're clearing out a check, then at the same time you could be putting in an order after that. You can put in their drink orders. There's just a lot of things. You can check to see if you need more vouchers. Yeah, so use that space wisely. When you're in the dining area, make sure that you consolidate. And if there's anything that you can clear up at once, look at all your tables and say, okay, well, what needs to be cleared here? Okay, so I see here on table 1, the dessert plates need to be cleared out. But over here, table 2, they need to clear out their appetizer plates. And right here, it looks like they need a straw. So here you go. Here's a straw. So just use that time, that space wisely. It's just about practicing. Of course, in the very beginning, you're not going to always, you're not going to be the perfect server. It just takes, through trial and error to figure out what works best and what does not. So you need to be fast no matter what. It doesn't matter even if it's slow time, because you never know what's going to happen in the last 10 minutes. Like you could have some downtime and you could be just walking slowly over your table, and bam, you get double sat. What are you going to do then? So with the communication with the customers and your interaction with the customer, what is a good way to interact with the customer? Make sure that you're not like just a very cold, professional, business-like person that's just like, I'm here for the job, sit down, I'll get you what you need, or whatever like that. But then at the same time, you're not chatty Cathy, where you're just like talking about your whole life, and you're just you think you have the most sparkling personality. I'm gonna tell you, most customers are not really thinking about how sparkly your personality is. What they care about is if you bring the freaking food on time, if you are taking care of them. Okay, a lot of times I don't even notice. Like when I go somewhere, I don't notice the server's personality. I just want to notice how efficient they are and how well they're taking care of me. I don't want to get to know the server. So that's something to think about. It's good to, chat it up a little bit, but keep it so short. Keep it just very basic, but just, friendly. But at the same time, not too much. Whatever the hell you do not sit at their table. They did not ask you to do that. I don't care if it's a person sitting by themselves and they don't have anybody else sitting with them. They just want to freaking chill. Like 99% of the time, people do not go to a restaurant to meet friends. If there happens to be that one random person that talks a lot, and maybe, it's a very slow day for you, you can, engage with them and things like that. But don't let it be a habit. Because the next day, if you see them come in and then it's a busy day, then they're going to expect the same level of, communication and conversation, and you're going to feel guilty because you're not paying as much attention or whatever like that. So pay attention, but not overly, And I think it's better to make sure that you're always anticipating their needs so that you don't have to continually ask them retarded questions, like obvious stuff. Like, do you need more bread? Oh, like, do you need butter? Like, even though it looks like they ran out of butter and they have a whole basket of bread. I mean, it's common sense. Go get more butter for them. You don't need to ask them every freaking thing. You need to put yourself in their shoes and, picture, if I was in their shoes, what is something that I would want or need? You don't need, if you see that their glass is half empty, you don't need to say, would you like me to refill your soda? Go freaking do it. And if they happen to not drink it, it's on the freaking restaurant's house, okay? Who cares? They don't drink it. They may take a little sip of the extra beverage that you brought to them. But either way, Okay, so that is the class for the Utah servers. I hope that you take notes on this, and I hope that you can, if I ever decide that I want to go to a restaurant ever again, I hope that you can serve me better, because y'all are getting on my last nerve. Now, this is for the people that actually go into the restaurant now. I'm going to give advice on those people, because those people don't know how to freaking tip. You go to a restaurant, you don't seat yourself, okay? There's an order, there's a system. You talk to the hostess and say, hi, table 4, you know, we have a table of 3, can you put my name down, or whatever like that. You know, they'll kind of direct you, but talk to the hostess. Don't sit yourself down anywhere, because you could really throw off things. I mean, you know, the hostess could be just looking down for 1 minute. You sit down, and all of a sudden the hostess is like, wait, what's going on? And then the server's like, what? You sat me again? You just double sat me. Okay. And you don't even know, because the table that you sat, they could be preparing for like a tent top. You don't freaking know. Let the hostess do their job. Okay, so you go sit down. It is important to pay attention to these things, you know, make sure that the server is doing their job, but take note. Is it busy? Is it jammed packed? If it is jam packed, give the server a little bit of leeway. Now, on the other hand, if you're sitting down and it's a slow day and you see the server chatting it up with their buddies over there and you still haven't gotten greeted and you haven't got your drinks, well, by golly, you should be throwing a fit. And you should be marking down that tip. Mark down. Okay, because they need to do their job. They're there to work. They're not there to talk. Okay? Now, if your entree does not get there on time, do not get mad at the server. Assess the situation. You know, say, what's going on in the kitchen? Put the, you know, if you're going to put the blame on anything, put the blame on the kitchen most of the time. But if you really do see that they're just kind of walking around, you know, talking to other people, and they're not even like, you know, greeting you, you could almost be assured that they didn't put your freaking entree in. Whatever you do, do not bang your fork on your glass. That is rude. Do not say, hey. Don't do any of that. If it gets really bad, you could just say, I need to talk to a manager. Or you could say, you know what, I'm just not going to eat here. And the good thing is, if you complain, you might get a free meal. You're more likely going to get a free meal. So, but don't do that on purpose. Because what's going to happen, you're going to get the server in trouble with the manager, and they could get fired. So, like, that's not freaking cool. Don't do that. I mean, if you're going to complain about it, if you're like a scandalous person, which I don't condone, but if you're going to be scandalous, then at least, you know, just do it on the kitchen. I'm just kidding, that's wrong. But okay, just don't be scandalous, okay? Okay. If you're going to tip the server, if they do a mediocre job, where they're just like a little bit behind, and you can kind of tell that they're not like really like Speedy Gonzalez with your stuff, but at the same time, you know the kitchen's backed up, but I don't know, you should just kind of assess it. 15% straight across the board. But if they're exceptional and they do everything right, 20%. 20. Always. If you happen to like their personality, 25%. If you happen to think that they're exceptional, 30%. Now, if it is a very cheap restaurant, you know, and you look at the menu and you happen to notice it's $4, your entree. Your appetizer, $2. Your drink, 75 cents. Tip that server $5. If they're a good server, I don't care if your freaking meal is $3 altogether. If you are not planning on tipping somebody, don't freaking go to a restaurant. Go to fast food. That's what they're there for, okay? Do you understand that servers in Texas and Utah and most, places in the United States get $2.13 an hour? $2.13. Do you believe in slavery? I don't believe in slavery. And don't think for 1 minute, just because they're serving you, that means they're a servant. You are their guest. You are in their domain. So treat them with respect. If you went into their house, would you do that? Would you treat them a certain way that's not kind? No. So you need to respect those servers. Understand that they're on their feet all freaking day long. They are running with a freaking tray right over here. There's sizzling platters right next to their ear. They may have not eaten for 8 hours. You don't know. You're not in their shoes. Be courteous. Be kind, and never talk down to them ever about anything. Don't freaking be rude to them ever. You talk to the manager, and they'll dish it out, and they'll look at you, and they'll see what kind of customer you really are, and to see if you're just talking out of your ears because you want something free, or if you really mean it. That's it. I hope that Utah, you become better servers, and you become better customers. And if you don't know how to damn tip, go to freaking Burger King, go to McDonald's, go to other places like that. They have their purpose, which I mean, they're okay. But anyway, that's all I have to say. I hope that y'all have a wonderful day.